Hey everyone, how's it going? I wanted to showcase a new gadget. Um, I do this for a few things. I did it with my mill food recycler. Uh, this is another one where um, I got tired of crappy K-cup coffee. I got tired of the microplastics that are in the K-cups, and I spent a fair amount of time trying to figure out a new coffee maker. What kind of coffee maker, how the coffee's made, and so on and so forth. So this is from XBloom. It's an XBloom Studio. It's basically a robotic, all-in-one pour-over coffee maker. And there's a couple components and different ways to brew coffee. They do have an app which is very sophisticated because you can get into changing recipes to make coffee, different temperature of the water, different pour patterns of the water, circular or centered, and pressure of the water. So there's a lot of components that are pretty advanced for making coffee. So there's two ways you could do this. You can buy their pods, and when I mean pods, they're not really pods like K-cups. You peel the lid off, and it's filled with coffee beans. And this is a grinder. You can change the consistency of the grind all the way down to like like 0 to 10 for like an espresso, to a higher grind for like iced coffee and so on. The container is actually compostable, which is nice compared to the K-cups. You can also use your own beans. So I have these vials. Each one, these are 15 grams, which basically makes a perfect cup of coffee. If you use your own beans and not their pods, this comes with the unit. It's an Omni brewer, and you put a filter in there, and it'll brew it in here instead of the pods that they sell. They also make a tea brewer, which is interesting. It creates a vacuum and it drains the tea after it steeps. I've tried that. It's seems to work fairly well, but still working on that one. So basically, what you do, and the unit's fairly small. It's like 11 inches by 11 and 17 inches tall, and it's basically going to sleep. It's fairly simple. You have a door for where you drop the beans. Your water is in the back, which is probably the only bad thing that a lot of people have complained about, because it only holds enough to make like 3 cups of coffee. But for me, I take it as, well, the water's always fresh because you're always refilling it. There is an option to plumb it, to hardwire, but either you have to connect it to like a container of water, or if you put it up to a pressure line like you do your refrigerator for your ice maker, they sell a new pressure valve regulator to hook it up to a water line. So to make coffee, it is pretty simple. You can use the app, but if you buy their stuff, and I will admit, their coffee pods are a lot more expensive, but it actually makes a good cup of coffee. They give you these NFC cards. So this is a recipe card. So basically what you do is, machine's on, take the recipe card, the NFC card, and there's your recipe. There's your grind, there's the water, So then what you do is take the beans, close the lid, put the filter in place. Now the important thing is make sure cup goes in. And then what I do is I don't use sugar. I use agave, low glycemic index. It's much better than sugar. Put the cup in, and then what'll happen is when you start it, the filter will move over. It'll grind the beans that you put in, drops it right into the filter. The filter will move back over, and then it'll do the pour over. So it has different patterns, the spiral, circle, or just centered. And it'll do 5 pours for this one. So it'll go through different pouring patterns, different temperature. You can go in the app and see what the pouring patterns are. There's also a wiggle, as you'll see. It jiggles the filter to let things settle. So here's how it works. Just hit start, and like I said, you can use the app to start it and follow along. It's a pretty cool app. So it moves over. Now the grinder has an ionizer in it, which keeps the static down, so you don't have to spray the beans, because usually with a lot of grinders you have to spray the bean. You miss the beans to keep the static down. So you can see the pattern. It's in a spiral, and it calculates. It shows you the time, and it shows you how much water. There's the jiggle. Sure, it takes longer than a K-Cup. K-Cups usually take less than a minute to brew a cup of coffee, but as I found over the years, and it got to a point, it's just a crappy cup of coffee. I don't care what beans are in there. The beans in K-Cups sit there for months, if not a year. With this, you get fresh ground beans. You can pick whatever beans you want, and then you can customize the brew. If you want a hotter cup of coffee, colder cup of coffee, this makes over ice. There's actually different pods that they sell, like this one, the Angel Wings, is the recipes to brew over ice, so it makes less coffee when you make a pour. So. So it just continues to do pour after pour after pour, like a traditional pour over coffee. I think this one is 240 milliliters. And it'll tell you when it's done. The nice thing on the bottom is a scale. It's really accurate too. So when you're divvying up beans, you want 15 grams. You put a container, tear it on the scale, and then put beans in to weigh it out. And then what it also does is it knows how much, by weight, how much 240 milliliters is. So it's all based on the scale. So it is, and it is pretty accurate. I've tested corner to corner to center and it's all within, 0.01 gram. And then for me, um, the filter I leave in until it cools down a little bit. The coffee beans I put in my mill food recycler. It's not a composter; it's a recycler. And then the outside shell, I went up just recycling. Um, and I don't have to cut it open. I don't have to do all that stuff like the K cups. Um, and see the little logo, coffee's done. Uh, it beeps knowing I took the coffee off the scale. Um, and that's it. It makes a really good cup of coffee. And it's limitless. You don't have to buy their product. It does make it easier, I think, in the beginning. Um, and then in the app, people share recipes for different beans. You can customize the recipes. You can make your own based upon the bean and what you want to do, the ground of the bean, the temperature of the water. Again, so it's very sophisticated. But yeah, you can do a subscription to their coffee. But one of the things I found with this, and I thought about, was what if they go out of business? I've been down that road. We've all been down that road. And you try something, and it's a great product, and they go out of business. The fact that you can use your own beans, the app will continue, assumingly. Which is the only question: is if the company goes out of business, will the app stop? But willing to take a chance. It does make a really good cup of coffee. The unit's a little expensive. I could send you a referral if you're interested. You can do subscription to their coffee, which you get, I think, another 5% off. But yeah, it's a pretty cool machine. So XBloom Studio. Thanks for watching.